Good afternoon, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. A little bit later than I planned. It's an afternoon. We have a lot more people just popping in and out of the store. And to be honest, I'm kind of doing this review today because I'm a bit bored. It was Free Comic Book Day on Saturday, and we were really busy with that, and it was great. It was a bank holiday on Monday, and for American people watching this, bank holiday Monday for us means delaying comic books until Wednesday. So usually my reason for coming into work on a Tuesday is to unpack a delivery, do my my new comic book day video, and then put everything where it needs to be, send out invoices, all that, like just day-to-day running of a comic book store stuff. But there's no new comic books to do today. It's been kind of cool. I've had a few people come in, like check out what's left from Free Comic Book Day, and a few people basically just chatting away with me. But in the middle of all that, I've been reading Bountiful Garden. I basically grabbed a wee little handful of free comedy stuff that I just wanted to read for myself. Some of it was great to grab, some of it was a great idea, badly executed. But Bountiful Garden is the one that kind of I thought was worth talking about. And it's Mad Cave, who do some good stuff, but they also just do indie things, and sometimes that kind of knowing that there might be better people out there telling stories. I don't necessarily always invest in them, which is a bad thing. You support independent always you can. But I thought, yeah, let's give this one a try. And genuinely is worth talking about. And I'm not going to do this because, oh my God, amazing, best comic book I've ever read, but because it shows just a whole bunch of promise for what it could be, and an awful lot of talent on the page. For a start, the writing, because the basic concept of this is it's a deep space vessel's being sent off to help terraform a planet. The idea being that the people on board are in cryosleep, because why not? They'd wake up a couple of years before they land to prep everything, and then when they got to the planet, they'd start the terraforming process. But they're kids, basically because for reasons not fully explained, they wanted people who would have a chance to live longer lives, so why not start with younger people? I mean, it's not the best leap of logic, but I can see it. What that does is actually just leave a whole bunch of extra questions unanswered, like who is organizing this? Why these children? Is there a trade-off in lived experiences and emotional maturity, especially when you're thinking about the idea of these half a dozen people trapped on a spaceship for a couple of years before they even get to a planet? That kind of thing is, rigorous psychological training is necessary for any kind of deep space exploration, as far as I'm aware. Just from reading up on this kind of thing, they won't send you up in even a spaceship to the International Space Station unless they think you can handle it. The relative immaturity, emotional immaturity of the kids leads me to think that this could just be an experiment, and I kind of want to see where that goes. And in this one issue, they managed to give quite a few of these kids a grounded personality. Don't get me wrong, some of them are broad strokes, but they're at least individuals, and how they react to each other. Like the fact that they've probably gone through some kind of training together, they've already butted heads on a few occasions, and there's power struggles, and sometimes it's people like, oh no, you should do this, you are the best person. It's like, yeah, and other people, but you know more about this subject, but I did better in the team leader kind of things. And that kind of pettiness is also indicative of just humanity as a whole, you'd think. And how they handle this kind of situation, being isolated as they are. Genuinely just really cool character studies. Throw into this some exceptionally good use of colouring, all hand done as well. I'm going to now be vaguely disappointed that you don't get the same kind of level of detail on this camera as I want you to get, because it's all hand done watercolours. And you can see there in just how the leaves are not done perfectly. Now, there's times where it's done so well that I was like, hang on, is this actually computer colored to make it look like watercolors? It's a potential thing that people could do to give it a certain kind of feel without necessarily putting the effort in. Totally understand if that's what you want to do. But turns out the artist is just really, really good. I should find out the name of the artist. Williams. It's just really, really good. But what they do even better than that is use the colors and the color palettes and use darkness and light. This bit here is the botanist going in to the room with all the plants, and if you just look how much negative space and darkness is in there, that's just foreboding. You actually have a nightmare sequence later on, which is, if anything, the exact opposite. Yes, there's negative space in there, but it's also whitewashed and colorless. This kind of use, or not kind of, this actual use of the coloring and the palette just shows an absolutely brilliant level of understanding of how you can use this kind of thing to tell a story. From start to finish, it showed just so much what's going on. It wasn't perfect though. Some of the artwork looks ever so slightly rushed. I think because you're going to do it all hand done and you've got deadlines, you're going to have to occasionally just realize some panels may not be as important as others. Sometimes instead of doing detail in the background, it is just a watercolor wash. Looks cool, but maybe, not exactly what they were going for. But then you look at the overall, the different colors they use for being on the ship, off ship, in different rooms of the ship. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Same with the writing. There's one character who is the only guy with combat training and just also happens to be the only guy so far who seems to be a bit of a douche. It feels like that might be just a slight bit of rushed writing compared to some of the other characters who have genuine interactions and rapport with other people. Of all the stuff I've read so far, this is the one I'm probably going to check out when it comes out in full. Other than Ramvi and Al Ewing doing Venom, I'm totally going to check that out. So yeah, that's just a review. There we go. I've done a little bit over, but I spent a little bit of time just talking about Free Comic Book Day. So there you go. Tomorrow, I am going to do a new Comic Book Day video, but I do not want to get anyone excited about when it's going to arrive or if I'm going to have to rush it, because I'm doing it on a Wednesday, which is also the day a lot of people come in to collect their comic books. So it could be a little bit up in the air. We'll see how it goes. Either way, look after each other, everyone. Stay safe. Bye.